This Dolphins Jalen Ramsey situation has me a little uneasy. There was some talks that, although the Dolphins did extend him last year, that they came after the season and said, "Yo, Jalen, you could take a cut, restructure your contract." Jalen said, "Nah." Now this is all just hearsay. Don't know if that actually happened, but there are whispers that that might have happened, and they
No, I
said,
think that happened exactly the way you described it. I
once
think they
again,
went to Jalen. He said, "Nah," with
that's exactly how it happened.
with a
Actually,
bunch of expletives. But I really do see him saying, "Nah, that ain't happening."
there's whispers that that happened. And when I say there was whispers of that happened, just take it for what it is. But yeah, they basically went like, "Jalen, we're kind of strapped for cash. And we gave you that extension. We really like you, but you're going to have to restructure this contract, maybe give us a little cut." He said, "Nah."
Nah, ain't happening.
So they said, "How are we going to settle this?" He's like, "We're going to have to part ways probably," which is exactly what is being said. Now, the official word is the Dolphins have decided that they want to trade Jalen Ramsey. Not that Jalen Ramsey asked for a trade or anything like that. I think when they said nah, I think the writing was on the wall that there was going to have to be a trade. Now, there's talk about him going back to Los Angeles Rams, which would kind of make sense nonetheless. That this trade's not getting done with a lot of quickness. And I've been reading some articles saying the reason it's not getting done with a lot of quickness is because he is more of a luxury, Jalen Ramsey, than a need for a lot of teams. So a lot of teams also understanding that Dolphins want to get rid of him. So the market's a little different. It's looking more and more like the Dolphins might have to take on some of his salary or take a cap hit if they want to get this trade done. What is the market, though, for Jalen Ramsey, Vlad? I honestly think it's like a fourth-round pick.
It's definitely. I think you'd be lucky to get a fourth-round pick.
Ugh.
I think it's really a fifth-round pick that you might have to, if he hits certain
incentives
that can move up to a fourth. You're talking about a guy who's 30, 31. And even when we signed him, well, when the Dolphins signed him, I was already saying that he's still a great corner, but there were a couple of you saw where he was getting beat by a lot of speedsters. Let's not forget that Super Bowl between the Bengals and the Rams. If Aaron Donald doesn't get to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase is open down the field for a game-winning touchdown to end the Super Bowl.
Right. My thing is this. It seems like the Jimmy Butler situation, but on the football field.
Nah, because I kind of thought Tyreek was more of the Jimmy Butler situation.
Jalen
This is different
because
this is different because Jalen knows he's towards the end of his career. He's in the back nine. And the fact is, you're seeing that this team is not moving up or any close of getting to a Super Bowl. And you don't want to be part of a soft rebuild, even though they don't want to say it's a rebuild, They don't want to be. He doesn't want to be part of that. He probably wants to get another title. He did get paid from the Dolphins, but he wants a chance to get another title. He's a Hall of Fame player to me, but he probably wants to solidify that. He wants to solidify that. He also wants to go to a place where he can win or where he can make money. But he's not gonna. Dolphins are not like if Dolphins get a good deal. This guy is not gonna go to like Cleveland. He's not gonna go to a Tennessee. No, he's probably gonna want to go to a team like Dallas, a team like Baltimore, maybe even Kansas City. Like he wants a chance where he's gonna be able to contend for a Super Bowl.
Worst case scenario, of course. Doomsday scenario. Can't get anything for him. Or we're just too bad of a trade. But he won't play for us. So he's in just no man's land. The Dolphins are just in purgatory. You know what I'm saying? Like some team goes, "Oh, we'll give you a 6th-round pick. He's old. Can't take on all that salary. You have to take on a ton of the salary. You have to take the dead cap hit." And then Jalen Ramsey doesn't want to be here anymore. We've already said we don't want you. And now you're stuck with Jalen Ramsey getting paid a ton of money, and he's not really playing. Or if he does play, it's a tough spot. And this is the thing. Can you get value on your return? I like Jalen Ramsey. I thought, although he didn't have the greatest year last year, I thought he was still one of the best players on the team. And now we're talking about we want to trade him. And it's either going to cost us a ton of money or we're going to get pennies on the dollar, it seems like.
31. He'll be 31 when the season starts. Well, as the season is being played. He turns 31 in October.
I'm just scared now as a Dolphins fan.
Then what do you do? Because right now you didn't really cover
What
the
do you do?
situation during the draft. Are you going to
So
sign? Are you going to
I'm glad you
sign
bring that
like
up.
you're going to sign veteran cornerbacks like Stephon Gilmore
The hot word is 25-year-old Asante Samuel Jr.
from the Chargers?
Yeah.
Oh, is he a free agent?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Some other free agents. How about former Buffalo cornerback Rasul Douglas? He started 15 games for the Bills last year.
Yeah,
He turns 30.
he's a jack.
He turns 30 before next season.
He's a jack.
Oh, Asante Samuel Jr. keeps coming up. Is he our best bet? What about James Bradbury? He's a veteran.
Jag.
8 seasons.
Jag.
He has a Pro Bowl. He's been a second-team All-Pro.
Jag. Just another guy.
Just another guy. What about Stephon Gilmore? You liked him?
Gilmore was great, but he's old.
He's 35.
He's old.
And we're trying to get younger and more physical.
I'm saying, like, he's old. That's why I didn't understand what you guys were doing in the draft. Like, went that whole new. See, the thing about it is, you guys let the Ramsey, the news about Ramsey and the Dolphins relationship tearing apart happened, what, a week or two right before the draft? So then now all of a sudden now you're looking at the draft, you're like, well, the Dolphins are not looking at a lineman. They might have to look at a cornerback.
And I thought that was the whole plan. Why the Dolphins announced that they were looking to trade Jalen Ramsey. Now going into the draft, you have the idea that you're probably going to be missing a cornerback. So you go there and at a high point draft a cornerback. No, don't worry about that. You want to hear some more unsexy free agent names?
Okay.
Mike Hilton of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, God.
Standout nickel cornerback.
Dude, you haven't really
already had that in Cater.
Right, so I'm saying you haven't told me anybody that is a guy who you could put on the outside that could go against the Garrett Wilsons, the Stephon Diggs, the Jamar Chases, you know what I mean? Who Buffalo have? The Zay Flowers.
Can't go against those guys. We did select in the 5th round of the draft Jason Marshall Jr., which is better than. Oh, when I say better than, we have Cater Kahoo and Storm Duck who are undrafted. Oh, and you got Cam Smith. He's a 2nd round draft pick.
Yeah, the guy that was that's his son's boy, right? That's his And all of a sudden he's like, we can't be holding his hands anymore.
I can't go back on my word. A couple of weeks ago, I told you I'd given up on Cam Smith.
He's done. He's done. You know it's bad.
They're like, but he's had injuries.
But
he had lack of confidence.
You can't go to the media and say we can't hold his hands anymore.
Right. They did say that.
Okay.
He needs to be a 2nd round pick.
Okay, you said that. You're the one who drafted him. How come how come they haven't developed him into being what you thought you saw or you expected when you drafted him?
So the first year, we're going to go through the list of excuses. The first year he was developing. 2nd year, Vic Fangio's doghouse. 3rd year, his confidence, and then he had a bad hamstring. This is the 4th year. What's the excuse going to be this year?
You drafted him.
What's the excuse?
You drafted him.
I think this is the year where we say, you know what? I'm not that good.
You drafted. That was your nephew. You drafted your best, your son's best, his boy. So now let's see. Just look at this DB room. Jalen Ramsey, who doesn't want to be here and who we're trying to openly trade, and he's getting older. Cater Kahoo, who has been called Cater got cooked several times throughout his career. Storm Duck, undrafted free agent who had some moments but also got burnt. And Cam Smith, a 2nd round pick that has never really done anything. There you go, Vlad. Dolphins, go get him in a pass-happy league. Go get him. Oh, yeah, safeties. We had to draft a couple of safeties. Oh, no, we do have that 5th round pick. I forgot. Jason Marshall Jr. is in that cornerbacks room, too. We get to play Joe Burrow this year, too. He led the league in passing last year. Yeah, you get to go against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You got to go against Zay Flowers. Yeah, you got to go against DK Metcalf and George Pickens.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Yeah, you got to go against Josh Allen. You got to go against Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
you got to go against maybe the carcass that is still Stephon Diggs.
We'll see what goes on with Drake May too.
Wait. And then you're playing the NFC South this year, so you got to go against Drake London, right? You got to go against Tate McMillan, the kid that was drafted against Arizona, big kid, 6'5". I don't see. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy, bro.
I was gonna say, Vlad, you're not giving me a lot of confidence right now.
Why should I?
I'm just saying. This situation. Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. What would be the best case scenario, realistically,
For who? For what?
Jalen Ramsey?
To make everybody happy?
Yeah.
To have everybody happy?
What's the best, or basically just the best case scenario for the Dolphins? Because, you know, whatever happens, happens. But what, as a Dolphins fan, is the best realistic scenario? I know the realistic
I
scenario.
got a situation for you.
I'm going to tell you what I think the best situation
I
for
have
the Dolphins is.
The best situation is to trade Jalen Ramsey to Minnesota.
And get back our guy.
No, you're not getting Van Ginkel because
he
just got a 22
I know,
million
he just got a
raise.
contract.
No, that way you get a draft pick, but Jalen Ramsey's the type of corner that would definitely Brian Flores would want for his defensive scheme in Minnesota. Minnesota has a chance to compete for a championship. They got a young rookie. They got the best receiver in the game. They got two great receivers and a tight end. They're on the verge of possibly winning a championship or contending for a title. And if they have a Jalen Ramsey, I think that would really benefit them. And they would be willing to give maybe a 4th round pick for Jalen Ramsey. That's the only team. You got to look at a team that's willing to, that thinks that they're a Jalen Ramsey away from competing for a Super Bowl. And I think the Minnesota Vikings would be that. Another team might be, I don't know, because the Lions are the Lions, but the Lions got some young cornerbacks. But their window is very small to me.
Right,
I
we
think
saw
they
what
got,
happened last year.
I think they have another year. Like you have to go to a team that has that thinks they have a chance to win the title this year or next year, the Super Bowl this year, next year. So, you know, right now, I would think Minnesota might be the team. But
this might sound kind of crazy. I think best case scenario, realistic, and I don't even know, this is still kind of a reach. The Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey make nice, and Jalen Ramsey comes back and plays for the Dolphins this year.
So that means you're going to give him more money.
You got to give him more money.
So he wins.
Oh, well, okay, then everybody wins. But
no, they're not, because the Dolphins don't want to give any money.
Right. No restructuring. But I'm saying as a Dolphins fan, best case scenario, everybody makes nice. And Jalen Ramsey's back on the team.
It ain't happening, bro. It's over. He hates the coach. What are we doing here? The man don't like the coach. He hates
the coach.
He doesn't like the coach. And it's true. When have you ever heard Mike McDaniel not want to answer a question? Mike McDaniel loves to answer questions, even though he knows he's going to confuse the media. He lives for that. But once you ask him about Jalen Ramsey, he's got nothing to say. When is that? When?
Tough spot.
This is a man who blocked his own running back to get his wife. What are we talking about? Now all of a sudden he doesn't have any words to say about Jalen Ramsey? Out of here.
This is the thing. Out of here. This is the thing.
That's right.
This
None
situation
of them.
is bad.
And that's why the situation is bad, because here's the thing.
Great. No, we haven't even started even OTAs. And it's like,
because all that props and all that stuff you guys like, you know what it is about? You guys are like mothers, man. In the 2000s, man. You want your child to get an award because they participated. So you want to get them they got to get something because they participated in an event or a sport or with a team. And even though their team stinks, but because they spent the money and participated, they got to have some team dinner and some awards for being. No. Yeah, it's about winning. And that's it. It's winning in misery, like Riley said. None of that. And you guys aren't winning, and the team, but you guys want to give all the props. Hey, we didn't voted number 1 by the players as the franchise they want to play. That don't mean anything. Kansas City was got a D rating.
Last, and they won the championship.
And they won the championship.
I know.
Come on, man.
I know.
So it doesn't matter. And then now what's going on? That was last year. Now what's going on now? Seems like those vets, those that don't want to be here anymore.
Peace.
They rather leave. When have you ever heard that nobody wants to come to South Florida and play?
It is funny.
When? I need to know that. Miami, we knew Dame wanted to go. That was some craziness that was going on with Cronin and the Blazers. But it does feel like, for the majority, as of the last couple of years, nobody wants to really come to South Florida. You have to make the trade.
It's a different world nowadays.
So then what's going on then? So now you had Calais Campbell, who was the voice of reason in that locker room. He gone. Teron Armstead, who week in and week out was being put together by bubblegum and Elmer's glue. Now, you know what? I'm going to give him more props. Gorilla Glue.
Yep.
All right? No longer. He'd
He's
rather
retired.
he doesn't want to do this
I
anymore.
don't think he could.
Even if he could, I don't think he wouldn't want to do it with this squad. And who's the other vet that left?
And Tyreek Hill didn't leave.
No, and Jalen wants to leave now.
I mean, Jalen wants out, yeah.
And Jalen doesn't even talk to the media.
Jalen does his own thing, from what I understand.
No, Jalen, like literally, Jalen doesn't even talk to the media. Like it was one of the point where he had a great game, and all of us just looking at him, and he's like, "Oh, y'all want to talk to me?" And it was like, "Yes, master. Yes, Paul. Thank you for allowing us to talk to you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence." That's how it was, and he wants to leave.
Yeah, a lot of the pillars of this team seem like they are gone. Ooh. We'll figure it all out, right? Right? We'll see.
Minnesota, baby. That's your best bet.
Make good, guys. Let's just make good and win.